all new Dr. Phil. She's a lawyer. And this is her house.
It's covered in trash. Dirty dishes all over the place. Cat poop.
Food with stuff growing on it.
Her sisters claim she's a hoarder.
What the hell is this?
The timer. I'm timing myself cleaning.
Well, that's not working.
I am interested in alpacas.
If you go to your sister's house and there's an alpaca sitting on the couch, you call me. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. You to meet Kate. She is a 51-year-old divorced mother of 2 who holds a law degree and has a master's in communication. At one point, she seemed to be on the fast track to success, or so her 2 sisters, Peg and Patty, thought. But now they say their once vibrant sister is an angry, irresponsible, scatterbrained hoarder. Now, that's their terms for her, not mine. With her cluttered mind spilling out into her everyday life. Now, Patty and Peggy say that their sister Kate has spent the last 3 years of her life paralyzed, working a part-time job that doesn't pay the rent and surrounding herself with piles and piles of stuff. They estimate they've spent over $25,000 just trying to help Kate out of this literal and figurative mess, but nothing has worked, and they've turned to me for help.
I first noticed my sister Kate hoarding about 8 years ago while she was still married. The kids' rooms were covered in cat hair, toys, books, and trash. There weren't sheets on her bed. Her kitchen counters were covered with garbage, fast food wrappers, and bags of clothes all over the house. We helped my sister Kate move twice. The first time was a few years ago when she was in the middle of a divorce. When Peggy and I helped her move, it was filthy. There was cat pee, there was cat poop. Trash strewn about, a lot of bags of clothing. Every bedroom was full. When we moved her out of the house, we thought it was a fresh start for her. But about a year later, she got kicked out for not paying her rent, and the house looked almost exactly like the previous house. The second time we helped her move was 8 months ago. She started collecting storage supplies and secretarial supplies. She was only in the townhouse a year before the landlord told her that she had to move. I felt frustrated. I paid for my sister's last move between the movers, the down payment, and the rent. It was about $5,000. If I had to estimate how much I gave my sister, it's up to about $25,000. She's never going to get this organized. No, dirty dishes all over the place, on every surface. You can't live like that, and I don't want her living like that, because eventually we're just going to walk away. I don't know if we've been helping her or just enabling her.
Okay, guys, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're doing something to try to change what's happening with your sister. This is out of control, right?
Yes, it is definitely out of control.
Okay, and how long has it been this way? You say for 3 years it's been really bad, but this has been going on longer than that, right?
Yes, it's been going on long enough. It started when her children were very little, and there were little bits of clutter and cat poop and like dead flies on her windowsill when we would go visit. And then after a while, she wouldn't let us in the house. Like if we were in the area, we couldn't come in the house. We'd have to meet her at a pizza parlor.
Let's look at some of the pictures here. This woman can't move around in this house. She has to look for a place to sit down,
yes. Right? Yes.
This is a health hazard. There's food with stuff growing on it. Why do you think this is happening? We're going to figure this out, and I got some pretty good ideas about this, but why do y'all think this is happening?
I think it originally started when she was a passenger in a car that got hit by a fire truck. And she broke her pelvis.
How old was she?
She was about 19.
Okay.
Yeah, she broke her pelvis. She had a head injury. She had glass all in her head. The fire truck pushed that light.
Yeah, that's her.
That light post 8 inches, including the foundation and the concrete. The impact was so severe.
So they had to get her out with that jaws of life
Yes.
that's laying there, right?
Yes.
And she was in the hospital for a good while.
Yes, and then she was in a hospital bed in our parents' house for months.
For months.
Yes.
Okay. So you think that there could have been a traumatic brain injury here?
Yes.
Right.
And that may have contributed to this?
Yes.
And then she started drinking.
Yes.
Okay, then she's pouring alcohol on top of this.
Right.
I don't do voyeuristic television, okay?
Right.
Just to understand. I mean, this is shocking for some people to see. It's disgusting for you guys to walk in on and smell and look at and all. But I don't do voyeuristic television. My intention here is to change this. And you two are weapons for me. You're weapons for me to change this. So you've got to stop this. And I want to take a look at, I do think there's been enabling behavior going on
Okay.
here. Patty, you estimate you spent over $25,000 in the past 2 or 3 years, and you've paid rent in townhouses. You've to stop her getting evicted. You've paid for the move to the new apartment. You pay rent for the new apartment. You give extra for her bills. You pay for cleaning services. That's money down the drain.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, you might as well put that in the damn paper shredder. You paid money for cleaning services?
And I don't think she ever called them. It was actually somebody who was supposed to help her organize her place. Originally, when she moved into the new place, she had somebody help her pack. And this lady would help her, said she would help her organize her cabinet and unpack. But I'm like, I'm not paying for that if I'm paying for your rent as well. So,
But you just spent $27,000. I mean, can you imagine Mary maids showing up over and opening that door?
yeah, no.
They're going to be like,
Yeah,
no.
they would turn around.
I think I'll go to the next job.
Yeah.
And then, Peggy, you've paid for electricity to be turned on when it got shut off. You drive 4 hours to help Kate clean and keep appointments.
Yep.
You manage her bills. You help her look for jobs.
Right.
But she doesn't take
No.
advantage of any of this stuff. So you guys are doing more for her than she's
Yes.
doing for herself.
Yes, we definitely are.
And how's that working for you?
It's not working well at all because it always...
She's getting deeper and deeper,
She's
right?
getting deeper and deeper.
Or the stuff's getting higher and higher. But
Yeah.
either way, she's
Right.
getting harder to find in there.
Right.
Yeah. And it's, my husband said it, we're one lost job away from her eviction, though.
Well,
Yes.
of course you are. And she would have been evicted had you guys not
Right,
stepped in
right.
and paid her bills. All right, coming up, Kate says she has no problem getting rid of stuff. Oh, really? So why is it piling up all over her home? We're going to go through some of her clutter when we come back.
This is my kitchen. It's a huge mess. Here's my beautiful kitchen table. This was clean at one point. My fridge is problematic. It's gross and it smells.
And later, if somebody robbed your house, they would bring it back.
Yeah, they would.
They would break back in and give you this stuff back.
Yeah.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil.
My best friend is an immature absentee mother.
She's a party mom.
Nikki is hooking up with guys that she barely knows.
She dated at least 3 different married men.
Having a midlife crisis.
You are raising her child.
We feel like we've raised her just as much as you have.
Your daughter is 2,000 miles away begging to come home.
I'm not going to sit home and bake cookies.
You keep saying, everybody wants me to bake cookies. Like that's prison.
That's Monday.
Peggy and Patty say their sister Kate has been struggling with hoarding for years, but recently things have taken a sharp turn and not for the better. Kate says that her mom nicknamed her Pigpen as a child, and she's always had trouble cleaning and keeping organized, but doesn't consider herself a hoarder. Take a look.
This is my kitchen. It's a huge mess. Here's my dishes that I need to wash. I don't have a dishwasher. but honestly, it would not make a difference. It just seems like I can never manage to get my act together to get them done. Here's my beautiful kitchen table. This was clean at one point. This is last night's dinner. I'm going to put it in the fridge. But my fridge is problematic. I need to clean it out because it's gross and it smells. This is all old papers. This is stuff that needs to be washed and put away and thrown away. That would be this week's dinner on the floor. So we're going to be having spaghetti and tacos. And I don't know why I haven't put it away. Ooh, some yarn. Didn't know I had that. This is my bedroom. This is my bed. I share it with crap. And then there's my other stuff. Here's the cat primer that needs to be put together. Here's the cat who would benefit from it. And there's the other cat. I don't currently have sheets on my bed. I wash them, and now they're in one of these laundry baskets somewhere. Obviously, it would be better with the sheets on, but what can I say? It is what it is. And this is my closet. Obviously, I have stuff in front of the closet, which prevents me from getting at it. Just papers and laundry and a boot that I can only find the one of. All of this stuff I plan to have go to the Salvation Army.
How long has that been there for?
Like 3 months, maybe a little bit more. This is my living room. These are clothes that need to be put away. I don't consider myself a collector, but other people might. I do love pens. There's markers, because I love crafts. I love, coloring. I love mini binders. This is my project binder, because I like to stay organized. When I first moved in, there were boxes right here. Now, it seems like no matter how many times I move the boxes, I get another pile. It's beyond me.
All right, good to meet you.
Thank you. It's good to meet you, too.
They want you to change.
I want to change.
Okay, why are you doing what you're doing?
I have no idea.
Not a clue.
No.
Okay.
I try. I try and I try and I try, but it just doesn't work out.
Okay, let me see some of these pictures here.
Okay.
Let's look at your house. This is the way that you are living, as opposed to a space like you're in now, which is without clutter. This is a floor. You can see a floor.
Wow.
These are chairs that people can sit in. Now, you choose, show me the floor in this picture. You can't
Over
even
there in
see
that
it.
little corner.
Yeah, right. There's like a 1/4 inch over there. All right. You're doing this day after day, week after week, month after month. And days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into years turn into your lifetime, and you look back and this is your existence.
Yes.
What is your payoff for living this way? What are you getting out of it that makes you do this tomorrow and the next day and the next day?
Well, first, I don't consider myself doing this. I feel like it's something that I'm not doing. Does that make sense? I'm not doing all the cleaning and
Who
stuff.
put that stuff in there?
Me.
So you are doing it.
All right.
If I told you right now, there's a truck backing up to your house, and when you get home, it is empty.
What are you doing with my cats?
There's not going to be a thing there except 2 cats.
Okay.
How would you feel?
I would be a little bit pissed because I know that the stuff that I have from my parents is in there.
All's going to the dump.
Can you take it to the Salvation Army so somebody can benefit from it? But other than that, I'm not sure that I really care.
So you don't need this stuff. It's okay if it all goes away.
Well, when I moved from the house to the townhouse, my friend came and took the entire back of a pickup truck to the Salvation Army. And I don't know how full the moving truck was that went to the Salvation Army. And to this day, I have no idea what was in either of those trucks.
And I had mom's stuff at my house.
Take it down.
So you don't even know I took it.
Okay. Well, by the way, there's not a truck backing up to your house right now because that's would be rude to violate your personal space like that. I'm not going to do that to you.
Okay.
But it's something that you need to do, and I would help you do if you want to and you're willing to do that. I don't believe that you don't have any insight whatsoever into what you're doing this for. I'm going to help you identify that. Now, we're going to find out what Kate thinks is the answer to all of her problems when we come back.
Kate gets angry with us when we tell her what to do with her money because she says, don't you think I already know that?
Sometimes I feel like a punching bag. I'm not a punching bag. It hurts.
And later, if you get a herd of alpacas, I will personally hunt you down. Because it's time then for us to come and get her.
I do have some impulse control issues with money management. I am currently playing with Father on eBay. They have used Indian saris.
Here are some saris that I bought, and they're gorgeous.
If my sister Patty found out, she would string me up.
So I do have the same conversations with Kate. Why are you buying that when you have no money?
I'm borrowing a lot of money from my sisters, and I feel like they're frustrated because it's a frustrating situation.
Well, Kate says she has a problem with her money management. In fact, now her sister Peggy handles her finances, while her other sister Patty says she's the bank. With both sisters taking care of significant parts of Kate's life, you would think she would communicate regularly with them. But Peggy and Patty say that's not really the case.
Kate usually never calls me. And this weekend, she texted me. She asked me for rent and money to clean. I sent her the money, and I got no reply back.
I call her and I text her, and she never answers. I can maybe get her on Facebook.
The last time I called Patty, she just really unloaded on me and was yelling. Sometimes I feel like a punching bag. I'm not a punching bag. It hurts.
Kate gets angry with us when we tell her what to do with her money because she says, don't you think I already know that?
I know that she's grateful, but you still want to hear a thank you.
She thinks I owe it to her, and it seems that she's very ungrateful.
You're not ungrateful.
No, not at all.
You just get frustrated, right?
I get frustrated, and I get sometimes so wrapped up in my own head that I don't think of the thank yous that I should say.
So what you really want, if you observed yourself doing that, if you said, I want to be proud of myself, and I observed myself wiping this all away and requiring myself to go to a higher level of functioning. I'm a lawyer. I've got a master's degree in communications. I am an intelligent, educated woman. And if I observed myself holding myself to a higher standard of functioning, I would be proud of myself again. How would that affect you?
I think that it would make everything easier to maintain, and then more things would fall into place.
You'd be back in control of your life.
Yeah.
What are you willing to do to be proud of yourself and get back in control of your own life?
I'm willing to get rid of a bunch of stuff, a lot of stuff.
When you say stuff, you brought some stuff to, and we have thoughts. And you know, as a lawyer, you can feel one way about things, and you can think another way about things. So I want you to just get in your head for a minute. That's something you are good at. Purely from a intellectual standpoint, tell me what these are.
Those are erasers for pencils.
This is a Ziploc bag of erasers.
Mm-hmm.
Are you anticipating a lot of mistakes coming up?
I work in an elementary school, so I give them to the kids.
These aren't given to the kids. These are at home.
Right.
What the hell is this?
It's a timer.
What are you timing?
Theoretically, I'm timing myself cleaning.
does. You need to get a new one of them. You have boxes of this stuff in your house. Do you even know what's in here?
Mostly pens and markers and papers and stuff.
If somebody robbed your house, they would bring it back.
Yeah, they would.
They would break back in and give you this stuff back.
Yes.
And if they didn't, you wouldn't know it was gone, would you? Somebody could come in and rob a pickup load full of stuff from your house, and you wouldn't know it was gone.
Probably.
Would you
yeah.
agree?
I'd agree.
Does it seem logical to you that you're keeping this kind of stuff?
No.
Boxes and boxes, rooms and rooms. Does it seem logical to you that your house smells?
No.
If someone told you why you were doing this, do you think that would...
If I agreed with them.
I can be very persuasive. What big white fuzzy animal does Kate see as a moneymaker? I'll ask her when we come back.
I am currently very interested in alpacas because they're cute. They're fuzzy. Their fiber is very valuable.
She cannot have alpacas. Can you imagine? She wouldn't clean up after them. She can't clean up after her cats. She needs to get a reality check.
They grow a beautiful, beautiful fleece, which can be turned into yarn and sold and turned into all kinds of useful goods.
She doesn't finish a project, an art project. She's never going to finish shearing.
If you get a herd of alpacas, I will personally hunt you down.
I have not spent a single cent on my alpaca frustration.
Didn't you buy alpaca books?
No, I don't think that I
Yes, you bought books all about alpacas.
You can watch alpacas on TV.
Yeah.
You can talk to people about alpacas.
Mm-hmm.
You can think about alpacas. But don't get alpacas.
I'm not doing anything until I have paid my sisters back.
If you go to your sister's house and there's an alpaca sitting on the couch, you call me. Okay, you call me because it's time. Because it's time then for us to come and get her. Well, all three sisters acknowledge that Kate has never been the perfect homemaker, but wonder what makes an intelligent, witty-driven woman behave like a hoarder, a near homeless hermit. Patty thinks they have a clue. Take a look.
When I was in college, I was in a very bad car accident. We were broadsided by a fire truck.
She got removed from the car with the jaws of life.
I lost consciousness for a significant amount of time. I woke up in the emergency room. I must have had a fairly bad concussion.
She had a broken pelvis. She was stuck in a hospital bed in my parents' family room. She was tired. She was on pain meds.
After the accident, my mom had started writing notes in a notebook, and one of the notes she had written was brain damage, question mark.
She seemed to start drinking more after that.
I would consider myself an alcoholic from 94 to about 2004.
People would call me and say that they thought she was drinking before she went driving to pick her children up.
I don't know if her alcohol is responsible for her problems or her head injury is responsible for the alcohol.
I don't know if that has something to do with what's going on in her head right now.
I said, if somebody told you why this was going on, do you think it would help you move down the road towards a solution? You said if you agree with it.
Yep.
I'm going to convince you of what I think is going on. First, do you agree that this is abnormal?
Yes.
There is a psychological element to this, but there's also oftentimes a genetic predisposition to this. There's often a biological component to this. And it also tends to exist and be associated with OCD. These type folks feel like they don't want to waste anything. And they feel this compulsion for perfect order. And when they can't do it, they kind of shut down. It's like I'm out of control, and then it just overwhelms them. You don't ever plan to fill your house up like this. You just get overwhelmed, and then it's like, now the hill's so steep I can't climb it, so what the hell? You give up. And absolutely, traumatic brain injury is a significant trigger for this kind of behavior.
But why is this affecting me now and it wasn't affecting me like right after the accident?
Because as time goes on, these patterns become entrenched. And it's like you're on a racetrack with no exit ramp. And so you begin to feel powerless to change this. It makes itself worse as you observe yourself have an inability to alter it.
Okay.
So it's auto-exacerbating. It makes itself worse because you observe yourself doing this. You go, what am I doing? And you get depressed about that. It's like, this isn't me. Why am I doing? What is wrong with me?
Yeah, what is wrong with me?
So what does she do next? I'm going to tell her when we come back.
My landlord is very concerned about the cleanliness of my apartment, so I texted my sisters and said, if I don't get the kitchen clean, she may not renew my lease. Patty's response was, why can't you clean it? It's like asking Helen Keller to read a roadmap.
I want to add someone to the conversation. Joining us on Polycom are Dr. Al Johnson of Johnson Medical Associates and Dr. Frank Lawless, the chairman of the Dr. Phil Show Advisory Board and co-founder of Lawless PV-PNP Center. Dr. Johnson, let me start with you because I want to talk a little bit about the brain. I've discussed the traumatic brain injury and how it can affect what's going on here. Talk about that some, if you will.
When you have a traumatic brain injury, it affects the cells. It affects how a person behaves. It affects the brain hormones, and they become non-functional with lack of motivation, lack of focus, lack of energy. What I use is hyperbaric oxygen treatment to help revitalize those cells.
And so with a traumatic brain injury, which can happen, there's a lot of different ways to measure that. The Glasgow scale is one that we can use to determine your level of pre-trauma amnesia, your level of lack of consciousness, to determine, along with doing some imaging on your brain to figure out the level of severity here. But the point is, when some of these areas are impacted, then that's going to express itself in your problem solving, your problem recognition, your motivation, your emotion. And with this hyperbaric treatment, which reoxygenates these parts of the brain, it's very resilient. It can come back, and all of a sudden you go, wow. Not all of a sudden. It takes time across, but we're talking about weeks, not years here, across time. And the success rate here is very high, Dr. Johnson, true?
True.
And so this is not like a long shot fringe sort of thing. It can help. Dr. Lawless, you've been listening to this whole thing, and you and I have discussed this previously. There are things that Kate can do, exercises that she can do with regard to her functioning, with regard to getting her brain awake. Talk about this a little bit.
Well, first of all, I want to mention that there is often an autoimmune response that occurs years later. So what may be happening now is basically a level of inflammation. And as Dr. Johnson pointed out, that this hyperbaric chambers can help resolve. And like you asked me, there are certain exercises that can stimulate the regrowth of nerve cells, the reconnection of nerve cells. And we can combine those things with hyperbaric chambers so that they basically can revive her brain back to function.
Yeah, so the point is, there's some real hope and help here for changing some of these things in non-invasive ways. So I said at the beginning, I don't do voyeuristic television. You know, there's a line in the open to this show that says, today is going to be a changing day in your life. That was just something I said on camera that was picked up 15 years ago, but it was something I said from the heart and that I meant. And when people come here, when people watch this show, I do mean for it to be a changing day in their lives. And I do mean for this to be a changing day in your life, and therefore in your lives. We'll be right back.
Sometimes my mind shuts down. I just get overwhelmed. I'm standing in my own way, and I know that, but by the same token, I can't really get out of my own way. It's kind of like both sides of my brain fighting against each other in this weird death match.
I don't want to treat the symptom here. I don't want... That's why I said, really not backing a truck up to your house right now. That needs to happen. But that would not solve the problem. All that would do is just make room for new stuff. And if we deal with what's happening with you psychologically, neurologically, biochemically, then your need to do what you're doing goes away. And all of a sudden you can walk in that house and open that door and say, my God, what's all this stuff doing in here? I don't want this here. I don't need this here. I cannot believe that I was living this way. And you're not doing it because you want to. You're doing it because, in my opinion, you have some neurological deficits, and these things are existing comorbid with some other disorders. And I think among them are depression. I think you may be having some OCD, not in a severe fashion, but in a way that is causing you to really have some anxiety that you're attempting to control by controlling your external world. I think if we can do something to get that under control, if you take away the need for the stuff will go away.
Okay.
And so what I would propose to do, and Dr. Johnson has very graciously agreed to participate in this. Dr. Lawless has very graciously agreed to participate in this, is have you go see these gentlemen and get you started down the path. First, get a very good evaluation and find out exactly where you are with some brain imaging, brain scan. Start some hyperbaric treatment with you, see what all is going on. And that will mean that you will need to spend some time there with these people, and then we can continue this where you live. And I think you are going to find that you're going to see some very significant changes here. And these are going to be changes that you create by doing the things that you need to do. Are you game to immerse yourself in this kind of protocol?
Absolutely.
Also, Betsy Fine with Clutter Busters and Mark Manning with Manning's Maids are standing by to help you organize and clean for a fresh start, so we can do things simultaneously and get you moving down the road. So all of this is happening at one time. So you've got a lot of stuff going on. Things are beginning to change in your life, right?
Yes.
All right. That's what I like to hear. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Dr. Johnson, thank you. Dr. Lawless, thank you, gentlemen. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate both of you taking time out of your busy practices to join us here today. I appreciate it.